Welcome back, sports fans. In this segment, I'm going to be discussing the resumption of the N.B.A. season and talking a little bit about facilities that have already opened up. I believe I'd forgotten in a previous segment I was going to talk about my plan for how I think the college football season is going to go. I will discuss that in the next and final segment. So I apologize to anybody that may have been thrown by that. Getting back to the N.B.A. season. We are right about at the time that I had said previously that a decision was going to have to be made. My plan at the time was, and it's still intact, if you're able to start the season, or if the N.B.A. is able to start the season by May 15th, I believe you can have the conference finals and the finals reasonably. The way things are going right now, with less than 10 days till May 15th, looks like that's not going to happen. I'm not sure what the N.B.A.'s plan is. Adam Silver hasn't said anything about it. Could be that the N.B.A. season is going to be canceled, which is a possibility for sure, and perhaps more than just a possibility. However, if you're going to have any part of a season right now, I think you're going to have to get the players back to the facilities soon. That having been said, facilities in Texas ought to be open, and some other parts of the country ought to be open. The problem is that right now they are just starting to open. And I think this is going to be a longer process than perhaps any of us had thought about, including Adam Silver himself. It very well could be, and I had read something today, that Mark Cuban doesn't think the N.B.A. season's close to resuming, and neither does C.J. McCollum, for that matter, and they may very well be right. But to me, if you don't start it soon, I do think you have to cancel the rest of the season. And I'm not a proponent of moving the draft, and at this time I really don't want to get into, though I will at some other point in the future, if it's applicable, the possibility that the NBA season may start around Christmas time, which Charles Barkley would like to see and seems to be catching some momentum. But I'm not sure if that's true among players or if that's just among fans and that. I would prefer leaving the season right where it is, though, for the time being. And like I said, I'll delve into that if it becomes more applicable. But I think for right now, it's important to keep the draft in June. I think from what we've seen from the NFL draft, the N.B.A. will certainly benefit from that if it does it, as will the NHL for that matter. And I'll get to that in another show. But if you're able to do that, great. But don't try just to get a season in to get into some wild heroics. I don't think that would be worth it at this stage, and I don't think it's worth the NBA's reputation to do it. In the next segment, which will be the final segment, I will discuss my plan for college football, and I'll discuss it in as much detail as I know as of right now. However, I believe it's the only way that it could possibly go down based on the summation of what I've heard so far discussed about it. Stay tuned for that segment on Sports with Ed on Ed's Sports Channel.